Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel Rise English. My name is Preeti. I am from UP. I am an English speaking learner who want to speak in English fluently in natural. So today I am telling a story. Through the story we will learn many vocab, many sentence structure. So let's start today's story and learn more English speaking sentences. I'm, I am just about telling a girl, the girl who never give up. So let's start one who girl never stop, never give up. Let's start this story. Imagine a girl who was so afraid of speaking English that she could not introduce herself on in front of class. Whenever she tried to speak English, her mind went blank, her hand started shaking, and she felt nervous. But do you know what happened next? The same girl later stood on a big stage, delivered a speech in English, and won a competition. Sound impossible? Well, this is an inspiring story of a girl named Anaya. And I promise this story will motivate every English learner who thinks I cannot speak English. So let's start today's story. Once upon a time, the girl named Anaya. She lived in a small town with her parents. Anaya was a kind-hearted, hardworking, and ambitious girl. She had a big dream. She wanted to speak in English fluently and became a successful teacher in one day. However, there was one problem. Anaya was afraid of making mistakes and afraid of English speaking. Whenever she tried to speak, she felt nervous. She became nervous and started shaking, and her mind went completely blank. In school, she could understand some English words, but English speaking was very difficult for her. When the teacher asked a question in English, Anaya knew the answer, but she remained silent because she afraid of making mistake. One day, the teacher asked all the students to introduce themselves in English one by one. Every student came to the front of the class and spoke. When it was Anaya turn, the stood off slowly. She looked at her classmate and tried to speak. Good morning. After that, she forgot everything. Some students laughed at her. Anaya felt embarrassed and sat down quietly. That day she went home feeling very sad. She thought maybe I will never learn it. Why are you? While she was sitting alone. Her grandmother came to her. Why you are sad, Anaya? She asked. Anaya told her everything. Her grandmother smiled and said, "Do you know how I learned to cook?" Anaya shook her head. Her grandmother said, "The first time I cooked, the food was terrible. The second time, it was a little better. After many attempts, I became a good cook." Every skill takes time and practice. Those words touched Anaya's heart. The next morning, she made a promise to herself. I will practice every day, no matter how many mistakes I make. From the day she started speaking simple English sentences. When she woke up, she said good morning. While still drinking water, she said I am drinking water. While studying, she said I am studying now. At first, it felt strange. Sometimes she forgets words. Sometimes she used incorrect grammar. But she continued. Every morning, she stood in front of a mirror and spoke for 5 minutes. She talked about her family, her school, her hobbies, and her dreams. Slowly, her confidence started growing. 1 month later, she could speak for 1 minute without stopping. 3 months later, she could have small conversation in English. 6 months later, she started helping her friends learn English too. One day, her school announced an English speech competition. Many students were excited, but Anaya felt nervous. Then she remembered her grandmother's advice. If I don't try, If I don't try, I will never know what I. She decided to participate. For many days, she practiced her speech. She spoke in front of the mirror. She recorded her voice and listened carefully. And she corrected her mistakes and practiced again and again. Finally, the day of the competition arrived. Anayas walked onto the stage. There were hundreds of students and teachers watching her. For a moment, she felt scared, but then she took a deep breath and smiled. She began, "Good morning, everyone. My name is Anaya. Today I would like to talk about the power of dreams. Every successful person starts with a dream. A dream gives us direction and motivation. However, dreams only became a reality when we work and never give up." She spoke clearly and confidently. The audience listened fully. When she finished, the entire hall applauded loudly. Anayas could hardly believe it. A few minutes later, the result were announced. The winner of the competition was Anaya. Tears of happiness from her eyes. She remembered the day. She remembered the day. She remembered the day. She remembered the day when she could not introduce herself in English. Now she is standing on a stage, receiving a trophy and speaking confidently in front of hundreds of people. Year passed. She felt all time confident when she got a trophy. In that time, she's improved herself. I can do. I am best. This is a real. It's happened every beginner, every learner. Year passed. Anayas continued learning and improving. She worked hard and eventually became an English teacher. Her students loved her because she understood their struggles. Whenever a student said, "Ma'am, I cannot speak English," she would smile and tell them her own story. She would say, "There was a time when I was afraid to say even two words in English, but I never give up. If I can do it, if you can do it too." And every time she told this story, her students felt inspired. They learned an important lesson. Success does not come from being perfect. Success comes from practice every day, and never giving up. So here I can told you. I can told you the moral of the story. Don't be afraid of mistakes. Every mistake teaches you something new, and keep learning, keep practicing, and never give up on your dreams. So, friends, what did we learn from Anaya's story? We learned that nobody becomes fluent overnight. Anaya was not born confident. She was not perfect. She simply practiced every day. 5 minutes everyday practice changed her life. Remember, mistakes are not your enemy. Giving up is your enemy. If you make mistakes, it means you are learning. If you keep in practicing, you will improve. And one day, just like Anaya, you will speak English confidently. So from today, promise yourself, I will practice English every day, and I will never give up. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next video. Until then, keep learning, keep practicing, keep growing, and bye bye. Take care. If you like, don't forget like, share, and subscribe.